Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. And it's time for another one of our conversations with the Barber National Institute. It's Celebrate What's Different. And today we're having conversations about giving back, why philanthropy matters more than ever. And first off, we're going to talk to our friend Tammy Roach. How are you, Tammy? Good to hear from you and see you.
Oh, great. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Terrific. So let's talk about the history and some of the vision and mission about philanthropy at Barber National Institute.
Right. So Barber National Institute is a nonprofit charitable organization that serves adults and children throughout Pennsylvania with intellectual disabilities, autism, and behavioral health challenges. So much like other health and human service organizations that our listeners might be familiar with, whether that be food banks or Habitat for Humanity or the Salvation Army, for example, while we do receive paid for services, again, much like other human service organizations, there always is opportunity to develop new programs and services and help fill gaps where our government funding might fall a bit short. And that's really where philanthropy thrives at Barber National Institute, in special projects and programs and services that we're able to deliver over and above what is available to us through our state reimbursement agencies.
So talk a little bit about what those projects might be. And they really kind of add spice to life, right?
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much. Yeah.
And, our founder, Dr. Barber, it was very hard to tell her no. I brought some notes actually from letters that had been written to her just when I was preparing for today, because from our very beginning, philanthropy and community service are in our roots. Dr. Barber began the Barber National Institute as a volunteer herself. She was a teacher and an administrator at the school district of the city of Erie here in Pennsylvania, and had the unfortunate role of, having to tell parents that children were not able to be educated in their own home school districts. And so out of a love and care and really a passion for believing that services should be delivered at home for children, she partnered with a local YWCA and borrowed a classroom, and that was the founding of the Barber National Institute. And now we have, grown to provide services throughout Pennsylvania. And I guess most notably, when we think about philanthropy, in really kind of seeing it take root in projects, are things like renovation projects to our homes, our community homes where residents throughout Pennsylvania live, right? And our own homes, right, take the wear and tear just like these homes.
Sure.
And so there are, renovations that we need to keep up with to help our residents live more independent, full lives. Things like, perhaps adding on a ramp to the front of the house as residents age and their mobility might vary. We have to adapt the house for the residents that live there. Maybe I'm now wheelchair bound and I need renovations to the kitchen or to the bathroom to accommodate, again, an aging resident. So throughout Pennsylvania, that is probably one of our most visible philanthropy projects that people can get involved with.
You also are doing, do some capital things and also some camps and things here locally, right?
Yes. Yeah. Here in Erie, we're very fortunate that our donors help us fund 3 very important camps for our adults and children so that they can have extended social opportunities during the summer months. For high-functioning children on the autism spectrum, we have an inclusive camp for those children, and those camps are 100% funded by donors here in Erie. And again, those are great examples. We are getting ready to renovate a kitchen for an adapted kitchen at our school, which will help extend our curriculum for our young students, our secondary students. So not only are they learning independent living skills, but also, just a curriculum that helps support healthy diet choices, preparing foods, maybe even a career exploration for when they graduate from the school.
That sounds exciting. And then finally, like, you have a Christmas dance. I want to hear about that because, again, that's with your adults. That you
Yes,
serve,
yes. So in December, we host a signature fundraising event for the Barber National Institute. It is a Christmas ball.
Yeah.
But what's really special about it is the very next day, we have our adults here in, again, this is here in Erie, come and enjoy a very similar celebration that we've had the previous night. So they are dressed in their Christmas finest, and we dance and have refreshments and snacks, and we take photos, and it's so wonderful for them to socialize and see one another. So that also is funded 100% by our donors throughout the Barber National Institute.
Lots of sparkle.
Yes,
sparkle, right?
lots of sparkle.
So, all right. So we've heard the impact that can happen from donor contributions. Let's get that connection to the Institute here. Sue Ann Wiest is the Senior Vice President of Marketing and Communications with Barnhart Transportation. Sue Ann, welcome. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
And so we would love to hear, some of why Barnhart is involved with giving to the BNI,
Sure. So Barnhart has a long history of being involved at BNI. Our founder, Tim Barnhart, actually serves on the board. Personally, I have a history of volunteerism and attending events at BNI as well. We have, through Barnhart Gives, established events that we host annually where we partner with local charities to fundraise for their efforts. And when you hear Tammy's stories of the good that the Barber Center is doing in the community, it's hard not to get behind that.
Sure.
So annually we host a golf outing, and our proceeds of that golf outing, which average this year were just around $60,000 in contribution. We split that
just with the one golf outing.
Correct.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and we split that between Barber National Institute and then the Shriners Children Erie.
Okay. Amazing. And again, I would imagine it's part and parcel of your company culture, right?
Correct. So, as every company does, we have core values, and one of our core values is serving others. And this is just an extension of that. So we actually became so big through our philanthropic efforts at Barnhart that we created a 501c3 entity called Barnhart Gives. And so we're able to support local charities within the region. All of them have to be focused on children and medical needs or like developmental disabilities.
Okay.
And so annually we choose these charities, and that's how we were connected with BNI.
And so the inspiration, it just comes part and parcel from your culture, I would imagine. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when we host these events, and Tammy can attest to it, I mean, it's truly a partnership between the charity and Barnhart, where we ask for resources from BNI, but then also our employees show up. So it's a roll up your sleeves approach to philanthropy, where we host these events, and we do it all in the name of the charity, and donate 100% of the profits back to these charities.
That's tremendous here. Now, again, so we have impact of philanthropy on the Institute and on a company, but let's bring in another perspective here. And I want to introduce Tom McNamara. He's via Zoom here. And Tom, you're a donor to the Barber National Institute. Talk about some of your experiences and why you got involved.
Well, first of all, I would like to say that I am honored and humbled by Laura Schaff choosing me to represent the donors and my family also. So I'm going to try to kind of summarize 60 years in 2 or 3 minutes. It's hard, but I'll just tell you a little bit about my brother Vincent and my family. Our brother Vincent had cerebral palsy. Vincent was the youngest of 9 children. We were blessed to have Vince in the family, and I believe Vince was blessed to be in our family. It was a perfect match because there was always plenty of love and activity in our home. and Vince loved being a part of it. In fact, he was a big part of it. We all participated in Vince's care, which gave us a maturity and an appreciation for real love and real life at young ages. Vince lived at home with our mom and family until our mom passed away when Vince was 22. Our dad had already passed away when Vince was 7. Both had heart attacks. The 9 children may have had something to do with the heart attacks. I don't know, but anyway, at that point, Vince moved into a community living arrangement, CLA, community living arrangement, and fortunately, he was able to continue working at the workshop that he was already working every day when he was living at home. And once he was living in a community living arrangement, he was able to spend many weekends at siblings' homes in the local area. God took Vince home to his eternal reward 7 years ago.
Wow.
The family became aware of Barber Institute around that time, and after doing much research, and wow, what a story, especially Dr. Barber, we consider Barber Institute a very worthy recipient of donations. It's just an amazing story.
It really is an amazing story, and it, do you get the sense by your participation, your philanthropy as a family, it's able to keep Vince's memory and his contribution to your family alive?
Oh, absolutely. I donate monthly, and it's all seamless. It's real easy. Just contact Laura Schaff, and she set it up years ago. And I just get reminded each month when I get the receipt. And in fact, I got my receipt this morning when I was doing some workup on this. And so it was really nice. But when that receipt comes in, to me, it really helps me kind of really get recalibrated for the day and whatever issues I'm dealing with. I think to myself, it just reminds me of my brother Vince and also the other families that I feel really good about doing one little small contribution, but at least helping out. So it's really something that gives me a spiritual lift, just knowing all that is done monthly. And as a family, we all went together after Vince's passing. We all got together and made a significant, for us, donation, one lump sum, and donated it toward the funding of a training center, which is now named for Vincent's past and his name, and it's in the Philadelphia offices of Barber Institute, and it has his picture and a plaque outside the training center. We've all visited it. It's really impressive, and it really gave us a good feeling that we're seeing some results from all the donations. So it's I feel very good about the fact that we're able to make some donations. In fact, one of the reasons also that we identify with all of this is the families and the individuals that are being impacted positively by Barber Institute are very similar to our family 60 years ago. And we would like to perpetuate their mission by continuing to donate and trying to make sure that 60 years from now, there's going to be no shortage of families that need the same kind of services.
Sure.
And just so impressed with Dr. Barber as far as when she recognized how bad the situation was, she didn't go look for anybody else to, she took actions and to get it done the way she wanted it to get it done. And if you look at it now, it's amazing.
Yeah, you're talking about a gift and even the ability to set up, whether it is an endowment or some kind of a planned giving that could go
Right.
on for generation to generation.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We are talking about the Barber National Institute on our program, Celebrate What's Different here. And Tammy, let's come back to you. And, again, we're hearing about this impact that philanthropy is making here. And, part of how people can get involved is participating in some of these signature events. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, and if I could, I just want to comment about the training room in Philadelphia. That's a perfect example of a gift that is going on to grow the professional development and leadership of our staff to impact the individuals that we serve throughout Pennsylvania. So it was a terrific gift. And Barnhart, I mean, there's just not enough to be said about their employees and their dedication to the charities that they support. And, nobody does it quite like Barnhart, and Barnhart gives. So we're so grateful. And, as we head into the end of the year, 2 of our signature fundraising events are coming up. One is the Ladies Only Luncheon, which is being held on Saturday, November 23rd here in Erie. And proceeds from that event go to the Elizabeth Lee Black School, and specifically to that adapted kitchen project that I mentioned, where we're installing that adapted equipment so that students can learn, about cooking and careers, et cetera. And then we talked about it briefly, but the Barber Christmas Ball is coming up again here in Erie. Probably one of our largest fundraising events. We'll have, anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200 people in attendance, and generally have more than 60 corporate sponsors like Barnhart and others that help support that event. So, again, there's lots of ways to support not only the Barber National Institute, but charities as we look to this season of giving and philanthropy, where we can, either by attending an event or volunteering, considering naming a nonprofit organization in your will, as you mentioned. So there's many vehicles to fulfill your philanthropic goals, and no gift is too small. So you don't need to make, $1,000 gift to be considered a philanthropist. I mean, children that host lemonade stands and raise $25 are philanthropists. And, this is a season to be, that we are giving. We're looking for ways to give back to our local communities. And so while we're talking about it today on Celebrate What's Different, this really is, an anthem for all charities across Pennsylvania and across the country where your listeners might be. So
that's tremendous here. And go ahead, Tom.
Yes, I wanted to mention also what I really enjoy is the Barbara Spirit newsletter. And I read it cover to cover. I get it in the mail. But for people that just want to see how this money is being put toward good causes, that newsletter is an excellent bit of stories of people that have been developing over the years through Barber, and now they have jobs. They're out making money. They're with people all day. They're enjoying themselves. They're thrilled to have the job. I mean, stories like that, and just what else is going on at Barber. So, and that, as far as I know, it is available on the website. On Barber's website, you can get all the back issues, and you can get the current issue. So you don't have to be getting it in the mail. You can pursue it yourself if you're thinking about giving and you want to see what you get for your buck.
Well, and that's a great way. Again, that kind of communication builds community. So we want to thank you, Tom McNamara, a donor, also Suzanne Weiss, the Senior Vice President for Marketing and Communications, and of course from the Barber National Institute. Miss Tammy Roach, how are you? And thank you for being here for another episode of Celebrate What's Different, Conversations with the Barber National Institute right here on Talk Erie. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. All
righty. It is time for another good news in Erie business, and it's brought to you by Infinite Erie, infiniteerie.org. Well, it's .com. It's .com. I'll get that right. And we're talking about this Mill Creek Cigar Lounge has opened on West 12th Street here. And it is soon to be followed by a wine and pizzeria. These new businesses will join Black Monk Distillery, making the small plaza a destination for tourists and locals alike. And also, 150 local and regional filmmakers and leaders met with the film commissioner of Pennsylvania, Gino Pesci, to discuss growing the Erie region's film industry. And the commissioner discussed the positive economic impact that the film industry has had across the Commonwealth. Again, another episode of Good News in Business brought to you by Infinite Erie, infiniteerie.com.